Your business will succeed or fail depending on your decision-making skills. If you're like me, you're often so eager to get on with it that you don't take the time to weigh the options before charging on. It's something that I continually guard against. I'm Doug Daniel, and this is Work Smart Formula. Let's jump into the decision-making process. After all, making decisions is the most important thinking you'll do, so it's worth doing it well. Don't feel insulted. It's harder than you think. What's even harder is to make it a lifelong habit. Thinking first doesn't happen enough. There's a reason. Henry Ford said it best. Thinking is the hardest work there is, which is probably the reason so few engage in it. So I dedicate these videos, posts, PDFs, and checklists to making decisions easier in all aspects of successful entrepreneurship. I'll show you how to make the smart decisions, do the critical planning that leads to building a fast-growing online business. It doesn't matter if your business sells services, downloadable products, or physical products. The secret to building any business rapidly is marketing. So let's focus on marketing decisions. Superb marketing does not require a massive budget, but it does insist that you make smart decisions. I learned how to make good, solid decisions in the most unlikely of places. This technique has worked well for me in several radically different environments. As a young Army officer in Ranger training, I was taught that even when unexpectedly attacked, to assess the situation, evaluate alternative courses of action, and then act. This held me in good stead through 3 Special Operations Combat Commands. When undergoing training to become a multi-engine pilot, I was taught the same concept but in different words. Before you can even start the decision-making process, you have to determine what you're trying to achieve. What is your goal? If it isn't measurable, you will never know you have reached it. It is amazingly easy to lose sight of the objective. With a clear goal, evaluating alternatives becomes much more straightforward. If you have a team, even if it's just 2 of you, a clearly stated goal helps keep everyone working together. Since assessing the situation, evaluating alternatives before acting worked so well for me in radically different environments, I naturally applied it to my roles as technical manager, business executive, and entrepreneur. The most important task in assessing a situation is to determine what's important and what's not. For example, in selecting a market niche, you might need to know, among many other things, who are the ideal clients that you would really enjoy working with. How many are there? How big is the total niche? What are your clients looking for? What do they need? How do you fulfill that need by selling them what they want? In contrast, when selecting an advertising medium, you might start with, what is the likely return per advertising dollar? Where does my most successful competitor advertise? What demographic information can I get from each potential medium? How much will each new list member cost me? Each business decision will demand a unique set of questions that, when answered, will give you important insights. Evaluating alternatives would be impossible without first assessing the situation. The more thoroughly you assess any situation, the easier it will be to decide on a sound course of action. But all of us need to guard against studying a problem to death and never making a decision. In business, almost all decisions seem to be made with imperfect knowledge. A business decision you will almost certainly have to make is how and where to advertise. So let's work through a hypothetical case. Let's say that your goal is to sell a $1,997 online course with a gross return on investment of at least 50%. Here's the situation. You're unknown. You have no email list. You've got what you believe to be a great online course that is exactly what your ideal clients needs. You don't know how your course will be received. You discover that the heavyweights in the field don't buy ads at all. They email their existing clientele. So here are alternative courses of action that you may select. Let's cover a wide gambit, even though you probably wouldn't select all of these. You might hope that people find your website and buy your product. You could ask entrepreneurs with established businesses and large mailing lists to mail for you in exchange for 50% of the revenue. That's commonly done. You could advertise in a publication that you believe your ideal clients are likely to read. You can advertise in social media that lets you carefully select what you think will be the optimal demographic. Then you can advertise only to people who fit that criteria. Or you could build a responsive list of followers who trust you and believe in you, then email them. So now it's time to evaluate these alternative courses of action. By the way, a technique that I strongly recommend for evaluating alternatives is to study and adopt techniques used by highly successful entrepreneurs. Here's what you'll find when you evaluate each alternative. Almost no one will visit your unadvertised website. Of those few who do, you'll discover that virtually no one will pay $2,000 to a stranger, no matter how cool the website may be. When you ask any successful entrepreneur to be your joint venture partner, they'll want to know how well your product is doing. If it's not selling, that's the end of the conversation. If you advertise on the two platforms that give you the very best demographic segmentation, they are, right now, Facebook and YouTube, it won't help. Your click-to-sales ratio will be so pathetic at the $2,000 level that you could easily spend a fortune for no sales at all. So you do the right thing. You look at the business models of others who sell similar products in closely related niches. You learn as much as you can about their products, pricing structure, advertising channels, customer support, and more. You discover that they have all built responsive list of followers who trust them, believe in them, and repeatedly buy their offerings. You discover that they started by giving away useful, actionable content. Then they started selling low-priced items and slowly migrated into more expensive items. Most of these belong to informal consortiums that email for each other in exchange for typically 50% of the revenue. So your decision is to follow the proven business model of successful $1 million plus online entrepreneurs. You decide to give quality, build rapport with your followers, sell them small, high-quality products, and work up to the more expensive products sold either directly or via joint venture partners, or both, probably both. How to go from free to small to big is the subject of several other videos. So in this video you learned clearly set measurable goals, carefully assess the situation by asking meaningful questions, list reasonable courses of action, objectively evaluate alternatives, remembering to study what successful businesses do in similar situations. Then make your decision. If you would like a transcript of this video, please go to worksmartformula.com and I'll be happy to give you one. Also, please like and subscribe to this channel. Thank you very much.